Hello everyone, welcome yet again to another video lecture. My name is Ashwin Joglikar and I am from Resonance PCCP division. Today we are here with the chapter Agriculture from your class 8th. Now this is part of your geography. So let us start with the chapter. Now as we know that agriculture is an age-old practice. Even during the time of that is in 6th class you might have studied about how human beings or how man from a hunter-gatherer became a producer of food. So that is what is related to agriculture or connected to agriculture. Now first point here, that is the introduction part. Man has to engage in some economic activity in order to earn his living. There are a number of occupations in this world and they have been grouped under 3 broad categories, that is, and these are all called economic activities. So first one is primary activity, that is concerned with your agriculture. Now that is what in geography portion of class 8th what you will be looking at are these 3 economic activities. That is primary sector will be looking at agriculture. In secondary sector, that is again a chapter is there in your geography of class 8th, manufacturing industries, and then tertiary activities are related to service sector. So economic activities again can be classified into primary activities, secondary and tertiary. Now here is the definition. Primary activities includes all those connected with extraction and production of natural resources, naturally, such as agriculture, fishing and gathering. Secondary activities again also known as the manufacturing sector or manufacturing activities such as are concerned with processing of these resources, that is the natural resources, manufacturing of steel, baking of bread and weaving are considered as your secondary activities. Now tertiary activities, these activities provide support to the primary as well as the secondary activities or sector through services like communication, transportation, trade, banking, insurance and advertising. So this comes under tertiary activity. Now today we will be focusing on agriculture, that is the part of our topic here today. The word agriculture is derived from the Latin word ager or agri, meaning soil, and culture, meaning cultivation or tilling of soil. So that is how we got the term agriculture, right? Agri plus culture. So agriculture is a primary activity, as we saw earlier. It includes growing of crops, fruits and vegetables, flowers and rearing of livestock also. In the world, 50% of the persons are engaged in agriculture activity and 2/3 of India's population is still dependent on agriculture. That is again it varies now and has definitely reduced over the time period, that more and more people nowadays are engaged in your secondary or tertiary services or sectors. Now favorable topography of soil, climate are vital, that is important for agricultural activity. The land on which crops are grown is known as arable land, that is which is cultivable land or where agriculture can be practiced. Agricultural activity is concentrated in those regions of the world where suitable factors for growing of crops exist. Where conditions are not met, agriculture is not as such possible. Now you can go through this chart also, that is agri that is agri plus culture gives you agriculture, that is the science and art of cultivation on the soil, raising crops and rearing livestock. It is also called farming. Then you have sericulture, that is rearing of silkworms. It may supplement the income of the farmer. And then pisciculture is related with breeding of fishes. Then viticulture is related with cultivation of grapes, and horticulture is related with growing of vegetables, flowers and fruits for commercial purpose, that is for selling. All right. So you can go through this chart. Moving further, farm system. Now what is a farm system? Agriculture or farming can be looked at as a system. It works as a system, that is important inputs. There are certain input, then these inputs are processed, or there is a process through which they have to undergo, and then you have a output. So that is how the system works. So important inputs are seeds, fertilizers, machinery and labor. Then operations involved, or that is the process which is involved, is plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding and harvesting of that particular crop. And the outputs from the system include the crops, wool, dairy and poultry products. So all these. Now types of farming, as we can see, agriculture can be roughly divided into two, that is subsistence farming as well as your commercial farming. Subsistence is again practiced for fulfilling your basic needs. Now this word is very important. You should know, if you can write down the meaning of this word, it will be very helpful for you, because this word will be there in your class 9th as well as in class 10th. Alright, so subsistence is producing that much so that at least your basic survival can be ensured. जो आपकी जरूरत है बेसिकली आपको जिंदा रहने के लिए उतना आप प्रोड्यूस कर पाओ. Subsistence again is further divided into intensive and primitive subsistence. Commercial, here you can see commercial grain farming, mixed farming and plantations. And primitive again shifting and nomadic herding. So this is that is how it is being divided. Now let us look at each one of them one by one. Depending upon the geographical conditions, demand of produce and labor and level of technology, farming can be classified into two main types, that is your subsistence and your commercial. First we will be looking at subsistence farming. Now it is characterized by small and scattered land holdings. Now you do not have a big land as such of your own, and it is scattered, and the area size is small, or land holding is very small, and use of primitive tools. Now you do not have modern methods of farming here. Farmers are again poor and they do not use fertilizers and high yielding variety of seeds as such. So they do not use HYV seeds as such for farming. Apart from this, facilities like electricity and irrigation are generally not available to them, and most of the food production is consumed by the farmers and their families. That is what they are producing for self-consumption only. That is, they consume whatever is being produced, because ultimately they are poor and they cannot afford much of the things. Now subsistence farming has again two types that we saw earlier. Intensive subsistence farming, intensively whatever the piece of land he has, he will put in maximum labor and effort to get the maximum out of it. The farmer cultivates a small plot of land using simple tools and more labor. Climate with large number of days with sunshine and fertile soils permit growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot. Rice again is the main crop which is grown because they have to support themselves also, feed themselves also. Other crops include wheat, maize and pulses and oilseeds. Intensive subsistence agriculture is prevalent in the thickly populated areas. Again, the population pressure is very high of the monsoon regions of South, Southeast and East Asia. Now, moving further, shifting cultivation, primitive subsistence agriculture, again two types, that is shifting, that is when you shift from one place to another, right. This is also known as slash and burn agriculture in many places, slash and burn agriculture. Jhooming in many parts of India, that is northeastern parts of India, it is also known as jhooming, and apart from that slash and burn or shifting cultivation. Now it is practiced in again thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. In this type of agriculture, first of all, a piece of forest land is cleared by felling the trees. That is, they cut a piece of land where the trees is wiped out, and then it is burned down so that the ashes can mix with the soil and it can provide as nutrient to the soil. And burning of trunks and branches. After the land is cleared, crops are grown for 2 to 3 years and then the land is abandoned as the fertility of the soil decreases. So once the fertility, that is once they have used this particular land for 2 or 3 years, and once the fertility of the soil decreases, they move on to another patch and do the same thing. So therefore it is also known as shifting cultivation. That is from one area they are shifting to another area and from there to another area, and that is left as it is, so that within a span of 5 years, 10 years, it can again regrow its natural fertility. The farmers then move to new areas and the process is repeated. Dry paddy, maize, millets and vegetables are crops commonly grown. Shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn agriculture. So that's not slash and burning, that should be slash and burn. So I'm really sorry for this, should be slash and burn, not burning, sorry, slash and burn, right. So next is the nomadic hunting. Again, nomadic people are the pastoral community, that is they do not live in one place and they keep moving from one place to another place. It is practiced in the semi-arid regions and arid regions of Sahara, Central Asia and some parts of India like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. In this type of farming, herdsmen move from one place to place with their animals for fodder and water along defined routes. So they have a particular route where they move and keep their movement like that. They start from here in a particular month and then move and then again reach at the same place. This type of movement arises in response to the climatic constraints and terrain. So that is why they have to move, because of the constraints in climatic conditions or terrain. Sheep, camel, yak and goats are most commonly reared and they provide milk, meat, wool, hides and other products to the herders and their families. Now coming to the next topic, that is commercial farming. Now commercial farming, as the name suggests, this farming is done with the intention to earn profit, money, alright. Crops are grown and animals are reared for sale in the market. The area cultivated and the amount of capital used is large. So huge amount of capital is used, modern methods of farming are used and most of the work is done by machines. Again, three types: commercial grain farming, that is carried on a large scale, scientifically managed farms in the areas of low population density. So they have a low population density, that means they have more land available for cultivation. Crops are grown for commercial purpose. Wheat, maize are common commercially grown grains. Major areas are temperate grasslands of North America, Europe and Asia, and these areas are sparsely populated, that is they do not have much population or are not densely populated like places like India or China, with large farms spreading over hundreds of hectares, and severe winters restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. Now next is your mixed farming, that is crop cultivation along with animal husbandry are practiced on the same farm and practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand and South Africa. Further, plantation. Now plantation is again farming, that is bush or tree farming. A single crop is grown, crop farming of rubber, tea or coffee, coca, spices and coconut and fruit crops like apples, grapes, oranges, etc. Again, huge amount of capital is invested here, capital intensive and demands good managerial abilities, that is good management and technical know-how about these crops, sophisticated machinery, fertilizers, irrigation. So you can see all modern methods of farming are being used here, and transport facilities, because again because of plantations also sole purpose is that you have to earn profit, and once the crop is produced, cultivated, it has to be sent to the market. So you need better transport system, that is whenever the crop is cultivated, it has to be sent to the market for selling. Some of the plantations like tea plantations, coffee and rubber have a processing factory also within the farm itself or close to it. Major plantations are found in tropical regions of the world, and rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka are some of the examples of this type of plantation farming. Alright, so this is for today, and we will meet in the next lecture and we will continue from there. Thank you so much.